Hello, this is Sudhir Kumar Dwivedi, Assistant Professor of Law from Gemtech School of Law, Greater Noida. The topic for today's lecture is recovery suits and its format under the subject drafting, pleading, and conveyancing. First of all, it is important to understand what is the recovery suit. The recovery suit is generally a suit where the plaintiff seeks to recover a debt payable by the defendant arising either on a written contract or an enactment where the sum sought to be recovered is fixed, or on a guarantee where the claim against the principal in respect of debt. It can be said when the suit has been filed for the recovery of a debt, then generally it is known as a recovery suit, and it may also be based on the some bill of exchange, hundis, promissory note. Ultimately, if the suit is for the recovery of some amount or debt, can say, then it is generally known as a recovery suit. Now question arises where the recovery suit may be filed. A recovery suit may be filed in High Court, in City Civil Court, Court of Small Cause, or any other court notified by the High Court. Depending on the amount of the debt, the recovery suit may be filed in High Court, City Civil Court, or Court of Small Cause, or any other court if he has been notified by the High Court of that particular state. Then in that court also the recovery suit may be filed. The procedure for the filing of the recovery suit has been given under Order 37 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. And this order is related with the procedure of summary trial. Generally, for the recovery of the debt, plaintiff or the person who is affected prefer to file a summary suit, because the reason being, in summary suit the lengthy procedure of the civil proceeding is not adopted, and the matter may be decided by in short manner, means by, you can say, not going in detail, but if the prima facie case is made out, then by leaving some procedural aspect the matter may be decided in short time. That's why where the debt is to be recovered, generally people prefer to file a recovery suit under Order 37, that is the summary trial. Now, what is the limitation period for filing the suit? The limitation period is 3 years, and this 3 years is to be counted from the time when the cause of action arises. Suppose someone has given a debt, and there is a contract between the party that the person who is taking debt will pay the amount after 6 months. In that matter, the cause of action will arise after the 6 months, when the person who is liable to pay the debt amount is not paying that amount after the passing of that particular time. It is not from the date when the amount has been given to the person. Rather, if any time has been fixed, then if on that time the person is not paying that, then it can be said that the cause of action has been arisen on that particular time. So from that particular time means from when the cause of action arises, from there the 3 years will be counted, and within 3 years the recovery suit should be filed. Now, what is the pecuniary jurisdiction in regard to the summary suit or the recovery suit? It depends on the state in which the cause of action arises. The reason being, in different states the structure of the civil code is different. Somewhere it is civil judge junior division, civil judge senior division, and directly the district judge, and somewhere the court of small cause has also been established, somewhere where city civil court has been specifically established. So depending on the structure of that particular state, it will depend where the recovery suit will be filed. And second condition which is to be kept in mind is it also depends on the valuation of the suit. As I have already discussed, if the value of the suit is different On the basis of that, it will be decided in which court it will be filed. For example, if we talk regarding the Delhi, then if the suit amounting below 2 crore, then the suit will be filed in the district court, and if it is more than 2 crore, then it will be filed in the high courts. In some state, the high court is not having any original jurisdiction regarding the recovery suit, means directly one party cannot approach to the high court for the recovery of the amount. It is only by way of the appeal that the affected party may approach to the high court. Means to say, whatever is the amount, the matter will be first go before the district court, and when after deciding the matter by the district court, then only in appeal the party may go to the high court. It depends on the whatever the rule has been passed by that particular high court of that particular state. But in Delhi, the original jurisdiction is also lying with the high court if the amount is more than 2 crore. Now, under Order 37, it has been provided that if a suit has been filed under this order, then there must be a specific aberment, means that there must be a specific statement regarding that this suit has been filed under such order, means the suit has been filed under Order 37 for the purpose of summary trial, and it also to be mentioned in the suit that no other relief has been claimed which is not covered under Order 37. Means the 2 point must be stated in the plain that first, that this suit has been essentially filed under Order 37, and also that whatever relief has been claimed is to awardable, means the relief can be given under this order. There is no such relief has been asked which can't be provided under this order. These two facts must be stated in the plaint, and the form number 4 annexure B is the form by which the summon is to be issued to the defendant, to the opposite party. Generally, the defense is not allowed when the suit is a summary suit, unless and until the opposite party has given his appearance before the court and put his thing that he want to defend the suit, and unless and until the court is satisfied, the court will not allow for the defend. And now let's see on what this order apply. This order apply to the following clauses of the suit, namely when suit is upon bill of exchange, hundage or promissory note. I have already discussed in the beginning of the lecture that it is generally because the since recovery for the recovery of the debt, and these are the instrument on which the debt amount may be, you can say, recovered, means these may be the instrument for the giving the debt between the parties. And second, this also apply when the suit in which the plaintiff seeks only to recover a debt or liquidated demand of money payable by defendant without interest arising out of any written contract, any enactment or any guarantee. Ultimately, if the suit is for the recovery of liquidated amount of the money or for the debt which may be converted into liquidated amount, then it is a suit of recovery and it will be covered under Order 37 of the civil procedure. Now let's see what will be the format of the filing of the recovery suit. First of all, it must be mentioned that it is suit for money recovery. Then it will be like that if it is filed before the suppose civil judge, senior division or junior division, then it will be mentioned like that in the court of, like in this example, sub judge at Coimbatore. It may be in the court of civil judge junior division Ghaziabad, civil judge senior division Noida. Then the civil suit number and the year, and specifically it must be mentioned that it has been filed under Order 37 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. After that, the date of the institution, The detail of the plaintiff, again, when I am talking about the detail, then it means the age, the gender, and the address of the plaintiff, and in the same way, detail of the defendant. Then specifically it must be mentioned that it is sued for the recovery of so and so amount, and if it is with interest, then the what is the rate of interest, it must be mentioned in the plaint. Then again, plaint under order 37 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 as mentioned in the suit. Then the fact will come one by one, like respectfully so that the present suit is being filed under the specific provision under order 37 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, that no relief which does not fall within the ambit of the rule has been claimed, that the plaintiff is so and defendant purchased so and so amount cement or anything whatever he has purchased, or means the why the that has been why the cause of action has been arisen against the defendant, it must be stated in the plaint. And if any check and all thing has been issued, then the date with date and on what date the check has been issued, and if it has bounced, on what date it has been bounced, all thing must be mentioned in the plaint. Then all the details regarding the same, like if it is on the check, all the details must be written in the plaint, like date of the check, date of the presentation, date of the dishonor of the check, date of the receipt of the memo of dishonor, date of the notice, date of the service of the notice, date when the cause of action arise, all must be mentioned in the plaint very clearly and very specifically. After that, you can ever the fact that the check was issued by the defendant without having any ensuring that there is adequate amount in his account, and after that it is also be stated that the thing has been communicated to the plaintiff. That's how this come to the knowledge, that this come to the knowledge to the plaintiff by the banker or the plaintiff. And after that the statement regarding that why the check has been returned, and there must also be a statement regarding that it has been presented before the bank within a time limit for a check, which has been described by the legislature for presenting a check. And then all detail that the notice has been sent within the time limit of 30 days, registered with a registered ID, all detail must come in the form of statement. Earlier it was like a detail you were giving that so and so check and number, now everything will come in the form of the statement. After that, it must basically mention that the cause of action occurred to the plaintiff on which date, when the check was dishonored, and thereafter when the legal notice was sent to the defendant through the registered letter. Means the at two stages the cause of action arises. At the first stage, when the check was dishonored and when the notice was sent to the defendant. After that, the next point will be regarding the jurisdiction of the court. Means there must be a statement that this honorable court have jurisdiction. There one statement regarding that, and after that there must be a statement regarding that the court fee, the fees has been filed, and as we know, if the court fee, if the proper value has not been mentioned in the plaint, then this may be taken as a preliminary objection by the opposite party, and the suit may be rejected at very initial stage. That's why it is very important to take care regarding the court fee. And if in last, the whatever is the exact amount, whatever is the interest rate, it must be mentioned in the last para of the plaint. And after that, if the party is claiming the cost of the suit as and all things, then the statement regarding that also should be made in last of the plaint. And obviously, when the last para will be prayer from the court, that what you are asking from the court means you are asking from the court the exact amount, you are asking from the court the interest, you are asking from the court the cost of the suit, and after calculating all the thing what will be the amount you must mention. It is the depend on the court whether the cost will be allowed or not, but you must mention in last para, and you should pay the court that this should be awarded in the favor of the plaintiff. And in last there will be sign of the plaintiff and advocate. If after that again in last there will be a verification clause, as I have already discussed this thing, that in verification clause you verify the statement whatever has been stated in the plan, that you know how you come to know this fact, that like that I so and so do hereby verify that the contents of the above plaint from para number so and so are true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief, and no part of it is false, and nothing material has been concealed from the court. And after that the sign of the plaintiff. Again it is also important to note that with every recovery suit a supportive affidavit is to be filed, and whatever is the required document must be attached with the plaint. That's all about the recovery suit. Thank you.